Hi everybody, welcome back to Charming Data. I hope you had a wonderful week. I had a pretty bad flu, but I've recovered and now I created this video tutorial for you to learn all about networks with Dash. So networks are used in many different areas in life. Networks are used for data visualization of computer systems, visualization of relationships and people, research in psychology, maybe biology or chemistry. So in many different areas, you will always see networks being used. And in Dash, to build this, they use the Cytoscape component, Dash Cytoscape. Not a lot of people know about Dash Cytoscape, so I wanted to do this tutorial to make you aware of it. Dash Cytoscape down here has 8 or 9 different chapters. We are going to focus on the basic usage chapter today, which is this one right here. We're going to go over most of it. And in the future, I'm going to go over some more of these chapters so you can have more tools and learn how to create even more complex networks than this simple one. Make sure to, if you have it in the means, to click on the link above, become a member of this channel. It's a great way to not only support what I do, but you'll also get different tips and tricks and a notification whenever I come up with a new video in Cytoscape or Dash data visualization in Python. So today we're going to do the Cytoscape elements. To get started and to follow along, I created this code for you. So if you have a Python IDE like PyCharm or Spider or Visual Studio, download networks.py, click on that, and then just highlight everything and then copy paste it into your Python IDE, just like this right here. And you should be able to, once you run it, you'll be able to create this. This will pop up. If you are using Jupyter Dash, it's Jupyter Lab made for Dash, then download the code inside here and put it inside your Jupyter Lab, and that should work as well. All right, to jump to certain sections of the video, like always, I'm going to under the video layout and jump to any section you want to see or you want to repeat again. All right, so to get started, let's go into the code. What we're going to do is we're going to create an interactive dashboard that whenever you highlight a node, it highlights a different color on the graph. But first, I'm going to give you an introduction to Cytoscape and show you how to create this network so then you can start building your own networks and having more and more complex networks. All right, also, this Word document that I created for you is under the video, so feel free to click on it if you want. I will help explain a lot of the things that I'm going to go over right now. Okay, so the first thing is we're importing all our libraries, obviously. If you don't have all of them, just pip install pandas, pip install Dash, and pip install Cytoscape 0.02 or higher, because Dash does not come with Cytoscape automatically, so make sure you install this. After you installed everything, we're going to initiate our app with this CSS style sheet. We're going to use later down here just to create, I use it to create columns, right? 6 columns in a row. So you created that. You go into the, you're going to download the CSV document. This is a CSV fake data I created of 6 women and different columns, and I put it inside my GitHub. So this is right here. All right, and this goes into a pandas data frame, and now into the layout. In the layout, we're going to call Cytoscape, Cytoscape, and we're going to build this whole network out. All of this right here, all the way down. But we're going to go over. We need a few parameters to do this. We're going to go over we're going to use the ID parameter, the layout, style, and elements parameters. Let's go over one by one and see how they're useful for us. Oh, I forgot. Very important to understand that nodes are the circles or squares that are between the links, right? The edges, you'll hear me say this a lot. The edges are the links that connect between the nodes, right? So this is a link and it connects between 2 nodes. Okay. So The ID of the cytoscape is a string. You can put whatever you want. I call it or chart. And this is something that we're going to use later on in the callback down here to make the dashboard interactive. So then when I click on this, this becomes yellow. When I click on this, the Elizabeth becomes yellow. So for that, you need the ID of your cytoscape. You have to give it an ID. Layout. The layout, as you can see here, is a dictionary where the key is equal to name. If you go back here, the key is equal to name. And the value is a string as well, and it has different options. It could be preset, random, circle, and all that. If you choose preset, you have to assign the position of the nodes yourselves, right? This is to tell the app where you want the nodes to be. I want this one to be first. I want this node to be a little bit to the left and a little bit down. This node a little bit to the right, but at the same Y level. So you do that by saying preset, and then in the elements, you'll see that we declare a position. Each dictionary is a node, and in each dictionary, in each node, we have to declare a position. So in this first position, we're saying for Executive Director Harriet, is going to be X is going to be 150 pixels to the right and 50 pixels Y, so 50 pixels down. So you'll see this is this is the graph. This is about 0. The 0 line is right here. So this is 150 pixels to the right, and it's about 50 pixels down. In the second one, Sarah, you'll see here the position for the second node, Sarah. It's 0 pixels on the X line and 150 pixels down on the white axis. So that's why Sarah's on the X is 0, and Y it's 150 pixels down. And you can change it. Like I didn't know what goes where, but if I put here 50 and I save it in Sarah, then I can go back and see that Sarah moves a little bit to the right because I put 50 more pixels to space from the left. Okay, so play around with it, change the different positions of all the nodes, and you can position it wherever you want. But important to understand, layout, when the value is preset, then you have to, every node you'll have to declare the position. If the value of the layout dictionary is random, we'll just show another example, is random, instead of preset, you don't need the positions. You can take these out, right? Because it's going to be a random layout. So if you go back here, you'll see this is random. Refresh it, it's going to be another shape because it's completely random, right? Kind of cool. So test these out, put other ones in there, other values, and you'll see how to change them. Okay, let's go back to preset. Perfect. So that was a layout parameter. The style parameter is always a dictionary, and here you can define the width of the network, the whole network, and then the height of the whole network. So the height is 500 pixels. That's why this is about 500 pixels high. So there's some limits to it. And after the style, we have the elements. Now the elements is the most important parameter. This is the body of the network. This is where the meat is. This is what you really need to understand. Elements is the list of dictionaries. You see the list starts here, and there's 1 dictionary, 2 dictionaries, and the list ends here. So it's a list of dictionaries. Some dictionaries represent nodes, right? This dictionary represents the first node right here. The second dictionary represents the second node right here, right? The second dictionary. And some dictionaries represent edges, right? Edges are the links. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dictionaries, and these dictionaries that represent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 edges, 5 links. All right, so let's break this down. First, the nodes. What is the difference between a dictionary that represents a node and a dictionary that represents an edge? The difference is the keys that are used. This dictionary uses, for the edge, uses keys source and target, and these keys do not exist in the nodes dictionary. All these are nodes dictionaries. There is no source and target keys. So what builds a nodes dictionary? How can you build a node? So I copy pasted this into the documentation to explain better. A node is a dictionary of 7 keys. You either have all these 7. You can have a data key, a position key, locked, grabbable, blah, 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 blah. The first key, data, is probably one of the crucial ones because this key has a value, and the value is in itself another dictionary that has 2 different keys, label and ID. ID is the index of that key. As the string, you can call it whatever you want. And then the label is actually what's going to be seen on top of the node. So Executive Harriet, Director Harriet, this is why you see this label. If you did not put a label, then if you X this out, then you would not see anything, right? And the ID, you have to have an ID, so you can refer back to it in a callback and then whatever you want. So that is the first node. And let's take a look at an example. This third node right here, the ID is VP2, and the label is Vice President Charlotte, right? So this refers to the node right here, Charlotte, and the VP2 is the ID. The ID and the label can be exactly the same. They don't have to be different. This can be exactly the same as this. I just put a difference so it's easier to teach. Okay, so that's how you create some of the nodes. Then we remember the other key is position. This is only if the label is preset, if you use this preset value. And then we have 4 different parameters: locked, grabbable, selectable, and selected. Locked means that you can't really move it. So we're using locked here. This is another inside the dictionary of the first node. Locked, true. So it means that I won't be able to move it. This is the Executive Director Harriet. So I can grab it, I can click on it, but I can't move it. I'm trying to move it and I can't. The second possible key is grabbable, and I put false. That means I can't even, not only I can't move it, but I can't even grab it. I can't, it's another feature of the Cytoscape. I can't grab it or move it. They're very similar to locked. Selectable means I can't even select it if I put false. So here, selectable false, this is for Vice President Charlotte. So you can see if I go here, I'm clicking on it, I can't even select it. It doesn't turn blue. It's tapped, I can change the color, but I can't select it. And the last one, selected true, this is on Sojourner. It just means that it's automatically selected. This node is automatically selected when the app runs for the first time. So if I refresh this, you'll see that now it's automatically selected, right? Because we put selected true. The last key of the node dictionary is classes. And classes, I'm going to teach you in a future tutorial, is just a way to use to style the app with different colors, different shapes. If you want to jump ahead and learn more about it, just go to the Dash Cytoscape component, go to styling, and you'll see that in the styling, it shows you how to use the classes and style sheet to have different shapes for the nodes, different colors, and so on and so on. All right, but we'll do that later. We'll go over the classes later. So this are all the options to create a node, right? We'll create all the nodes right here. Now we're going to go into an edge. So an edge is very similar. It's a dictionary as well, but it has different keys, source and target. And these are important keys because these keys tell the edge where to start and where to end. If you can go here into documentation, you'll see the edges it has a dictionary of key data. This is the key data. And the value is a dictionary in itself. And this value also has keys, and this dictionary has keys and values. And the keys are source, target, or label. Right? Source is going to use the ID of the node that indicates where the edge starts. In other words, I'm using the ID of the node ED. ED is the first node. So I'm going to put ED. I'm going to say take ED and make sure that ED is the source of this edge, of this dictionary. The source means where it starts. If you go here, the source of this edge is ED, right? It could be this one or it could be this one. But we know that the target is where the edge ends. So the target is VP1, and VP1 is Vice President Sarah. So we know that this first edge starts here and ends with Sarah, right? And the first edge. The second edge starts ED, and it will be Vice President Charlotte, which is ID VP2. Right? So this is how you create an edge. You have to say what the source is, where it starts, and where it ends, what the target is. The label you don't always need. This is just to name it, to give it some kind of name, or to label it. But you don't. You see, these other edges don't have a label to it, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so this is how you create nodes and edges. Okay, remember, this is everything. All these dictionaries are inside a list that represents the elements parameter. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to see how we create this callback, right? What is this callback doing? This callback is actually creating a link between the nodes and the bar graph. So every time I click on a node, a different bar graph is highlighted. This is Elizabeth, this is Sarah. No, it's still updating. Sometimes it's slow because of the video. So every time I click on a node, a different marker is highlighted here on the bar graph. So how do we do it? Let's go here. What we do first in the callback is we have to assign the input. The input is going to be the component ID is going to be org chart. Remember, that is the name of the ID of the whole network, Cytoscape. We're going to take this, and we're going to take the component property is going to be tap node data. What is tap node data? Tap node data, if you go to the references, dash references right here, which is this one, you'll go into all the way down, and we'll see the parameter tap node data is the data dictionary of a node that returns whenever you click on it, right? So if I click on this, it's going to return a dictionary that I can use in the callback. Let's see what dictionary. I just clicked on Elizabeth, right? So if I go down here, I open this, let's see, this is a dictionary. The ID is VP2, and the label is Vice President. Oops, go all the way down. The ID is PO2, and the label is Program Officer Elizabeth. Because we know, because I just clicked on Elizabeth right here, and we know from the elements that we created that Program Officer Elizabeth has the ID PO2. So this is how the app knows what the user clicked on. We should use a tap node data. Okay, so let's build this right now. Let's build this first connection between the bar graph and the network. So we're saying if the data is none, and why is data none? Because if I refresh this, the first thing when the app loads, the data is going to be none. You can print if you want and see. If you do that, you'll see that it prints none. There's nothing there because in the first time the user didn't select anything. So because the user didn't tap on anything, I'm going to say if data is none, make a copy of the data frame, which is a global data frame, and then filter the data frame where the name column, the row, where the row equals Program Officer Séjourné. So take that row where under the name column, Program Officer Séjourné, this one, and take that and the color column of this row, change it to yellow. All right, so we're going to change this to yellow. This is originally is blue in the original data frame, but I'm going to say change it to yellow. And why do I want to change this one to yellow? You don't have to do it, but I want to do it here because I put this parameter under Séjourné, I put selected true, right? Selected true, it means that if I refresh the app, the first thing that I'm going to see is this has been selected, right? So I'm saying if this is selected, filter the data frame so the color changes to yellow in this row, and then just build a bar graph with an X and Y axis, update the traces with the right color. So the color of the marker is going to be DFF color. It's going to take this whole, if you go down here, this color right here. Take Sarah, for example. You see, the data is this dictionary, and then Sarah becomes yellow. You see how this becomes yellow right here. So I'm taking this whole data frame. I'm going to take the color column, and I'm going to update the graph so it uses the color column. And that's why Sarah is yellow inside this marker. The Sarah marker is yellow inside this graph. This is if data is none, right? If else, if the user picked a certain node, let's say they're picking Executive Director Harriet, then print out the data right here, Executive Director Harriet, and then make a copy of the original data frame, and then take the name column inside that data frame where the row value equals data label. What is data label? Data label is remember, this is a data dictionary. This is the label. So we're taking this value right here, right? So this is exactly like this, as if we're saying exactly the same thing, where the name column row equals this. But I want to make this interactive. So I'm taking where the name column equals Executive Director Harriet, and take the color in the same row and change it to yellow. So that's why if I print PDF here, you'll see that this is printing out, and this is yellow right here. And then I'm building the figure, right? I'm building the Plotly Express bar chart. I'm updating the traces. I'm updating the color of all these bars, all these markers. And in the color column, this is yellow. So that's why if I clicked on this, the Executive Director Harriet marker is yellow. If I click on Ellen, then this is yellow because I filtered the data frame in that way. You can also use a different column. Instead of books, you can see, let's say, slaves freed. If I want to see a hypothetical example of how many slaves they freed, so in the y-axis, I'll change these to books. And so I'll save it, and now it's going to load the app. The data is going to be none, so it's going to take Sojourner, and you'll see that Sojourner is highlighted, and it's the number of slaves that each one of them freed. All right. So that is how you build a simple cytoscape, a simple network with Dash. If you have any questions, please under the video. Don't forget to use the link above to become a member if it's possible. That way you will learn more about the Dash Insider tips and tricks and get notifications of future videos. And I will be very, very, very grateful because the members are the ones that allow this channel to exist. So thank you for considering it. Download this document under the video. Go over it. It's really, really important that you know the elements and how to create nodes and edges, because that is the body of a network. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. In future videos, we'll go over some of these chapters so you can learn more about networks or Cytoscape, Dash Cytoscape in Python. Have a good week. Enjoy your day, and until next time.